One day I hope these educational institutions understand that all they should be in business to do is to bring out from within what nature's already put in you, not to put anything else in you. That's totally impossible. Nature, you are nature. You know how powerful and how strong you are? Do you know what you represent? You are the universe. We'll solve all the problems confronting mankind.
What's up, everybody? I know, right?
Hey.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Like It Ain't. Here we are again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Back at it. I'm John, for those that don't know. Okay.
Hey.
I have to that side of me.
Vic Virtuous.
You know what I mean? And of course, the what would we call her? The woman of the the woman of the show.
Dorian,
yay! Yeah.
Dorian.
Hey, Dorian here. What's up?
How you doing?
All right.
You got the teddy bears in effect, I see.
You know, the plush is out. The plush is out. My cats are my roommates. My plush are my pets.
No
Evolution.
doubt. No doubt.
Evolution.
So everybody, this has been a interesting week to say the least. You know, in the news.
Yeah.
Before we even get to anything dealing with campaigns, I would say let's just start with the breakdancing in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Specifically, the Australian. Mikkel, do you have that picture? Can you bring that picture up real quick, please? I don't know if I sent it to you because
it's in my head.
Yeah.
Oh,
Vic threw in the towel.
He really did that. Just blackout. Oh.
Wow. I didn't expect that. I don't like it.
Their faces.
Yo, why is she making the Scooby pose?
Yeah. It's like
I would have never known. Like, because I've seen this pose all over the internet.
Right.
Until they put this there, this is art.
Yeah.
This is art.
Fine art.
You know.
Oof.
So I wonder was she trying to pull a Scooby? Because I thought this was like a squirrel move. Jinkies.
Oh, right.
Shaggy.
The ear? What is going on? Oh.
What is this? Dorian, what is
she
this?
She threw in some other like I blocked a lot of this out from what I saw earlier today because my first exposure other than some other memes. But I noticed that there was a bit of a the water thing. What's that called? The sprinkler. I remember the sprinkler. Yeah. So she brought back some other moves, but you can't unsee the Scoob once you see the Scoob.
You can't. How do those judges keep a straight face?
Man, maybe they were just disgusted.
Right. She got a 0. Her score was 0, by the way. For those that don't
must have thought she was doing the Thriller dance or something. I have no clue. Either that or the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz, the Wiz.
Yes. Oh my word.
Her to me, her moves were very squirrel-like. Even except for when she was on the ground, then it was like a dolphin. Monique, what's up, Monique? She said maybe she got that move from the Thriller video. Vic just said, yep. I say that's disrespectful to even suggest something like that. Yeah. Because she would have not made it as a Thriller zombie, but she made it into the Olympics. There lies the conversation. Because now, in 2028, breakdancing is not going to be part of the Olympics now.
Wait, really?
Really. They already announced it. They was like, nah, we're good on that.
Well, since this happened? Wow, I'm a little out of touch, as you see. Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
So there's no so this was the first and maybe the last.
It's crazy.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Maybe that's why she was put in there. I don't know.
She was a plant. And that's my thing. It's like, it's a shame that hip hop culture wasn't represented here. Where is hip hop? Like, she should have not made it out of Cranford, New Jersey. I know she's not from Cranford, but she's dancing like she's from Cranford, New Jersey. She should not have made it to Paris. That's insane.
Seriously. I like that point in the chat too. LA would have been the perfect place to present.
What did they say? Can we bring that back?
Yeah, here we go. But LA would have been the best place to see. I need new glasses.
Yeah, but
well, if it was a one-off, it was because of her. But LA would have been the best place to do the breakdancing competition.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd be conspiracy theorizing on the spot. Like, don't worry, I'll come up with something.
Right. But let's be honest. If they killed it, would they have brought it back for
even brought it in the first place?
This right here, she should have never been there. Yeah. Vic should have been there before her. And I'm not dissing Vic. But Vic should have been, Vic and I both. It would have been like Rerun and Raj. We would have
Can we have a little audition now? Like,
oh no,
2028.
I've lost mine years ago.
No,
years
I can put together an audition tape that's well edited and doctored.
Right. There you go.
I can't, but live right here and now, that's not happening. I can't. No, I'm not insured enough to. I might break something.
I could do a respectable crane kick, Karate Kid style, but that's about it for right now. Being live.
I could do the squirrel though. I could do what she's doing.
Word. Yeah.
Now, Monique, she mentioned something interesting. She said it's unfair that they didn't have some of the OGs as judges.
Right.
Now, here's the thing about that I looked and no one is talking about this. An OG was supposed to be involved in the Olympics, if y'all remember.
Okay.
And that OG was Crazy Legs.
Wow.
And Crazy Legs had got his rights stripped from him as a judge because a bunch of sexual harassment charges came out about him that still no one in hip hop ever talks about. Vic and I even did an episode of Super MC talking about some of that, and it was just crickets. No one in hip hop has talked about, because he was abusing women back in the day who were trying to be B-girls. Like, he was the B-boy, he was the breaker, and they wanted to be down. Hey, Isabel.
What's up, Isabel?
They wanted to be down. These girls wanted to be breakers like him. So to get in, he would like sexually abuse them or say, well, you got to sleep with me to get in and all this other stuff. He admitted this stuff. He came out and
so it's not a legend.
So this is not, he admitted it. But he was like, that's my past and yada, 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 yada. But the Olympics was still like, okay, but we can't be connected to you then as a judge.
Yeah.
It's the past, but you should still address it and bring more awareness and attention as to what to do when situations like this occur. You know what I mean?
Hip hop should have held him accountable.
Accountability, exactly right.
But the problem is hip hop doesn't respect women. That's really where it starts.
The problem is the world doesn't respect women and hasn't for centuries. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Regardless of
art only
glass ceilings. Right. Man.
Yeah.
Whether it's Hollywood or politics, corporations.
Exactly. Point. Getting back on topic. Meanwhile, a rapist can compete. I'm not excusing him.
Talk
but the
about
double standard. Exactly right. Yep.
No, you're right. Yep. But listen.
Excellent point.
Excellent point. We're just mentioning the fact of what happened with Crazy Legs, and also there should have also been more than one person to represent hip hop. And once they booted Crazy Legs, they should have found somebody else. There's a bunch of other OGs.
There's so many women, men, kids.
They could have called one of us. All three of us would have been dope judges.
Hey.
Like, you know, I would have been real tough on the pop locking.
Oh man, I would have been generous as hell. I know, because after I watched Gumby doing her Scooby-Doo impressions, I looked up some other, because I've been watching the Olympics. Like, even though it's breaking in, I'm not watching network television. I don't do that anymore. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
so I caught I caught the U.S. versus Japan. Damn, this was so good. Like, I was screaming. Oh my gosh, it would just been like 1,000.
I've heard about it. I didn't catch it. Boogaloo Shrimp was talking about it in one of his clips. I heard it was incredible.
Yeah, Squirrel
Salute the
Girl
Boogaloo Shrimp, by the way.
Overshadowed everything, kind of. It seems in the news cycle. I guess they figured Snoop was enough. Can't have too many of y'all out there that weren't competing. Snoop and Flavor Flav. Flavor Flav, he was out in the mix. Did y'all see him or Vic? Did you see him at all?
Oh, we missed everything. Tell us everything.
He sponsored the female, what was it, water polo, or was water something? One of the water sports teams. He actually sponsored them.
All right.
Vic, could you read that, please?
It's a disrespect to the culture, especially if they took the time to bring Snoop Dogg as an ambassador. I think it's as a collective, we should all put a petition together to have a category facilitated correctly. Exactly right. See, I agree. I agree with that 100%.
I'm with that, Monique. Go ahead.
That's also like on the question of the I don't even know her name. The Australian
Squirrel
in green.
Girl.
What is it?
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl. Oh, thank you. That's her. Yep, officially.
Rachel Gunn.
Yeah, Ray Gunn, Squirrel Girl Jones. I am with that being, it's like, is it appropriation? And I only saw little clips. I'm like, well, maybe she doesn't have an understanding and blah blah. But then, like, watching the whole thing and understanding her background, she seems to really be mocking breaking and mocking the culture. And appropriation would be, imitation with that intent of mocking or making fun of or belittling. And she did all those things. And Australia is, at least the news I watch from Sky News Australia considers it an embarrassing performance.
They should.
Also, Iggy Azalea was also pretty much an embarrassing performance, in general. So I don't know what's going on down on that.
That was wow. That got ugly real fast. Real fast.
Yeah.
And you had some of the OGs call her out too, like a Rod Digger,
Yeah.
Quite a few people held her accountable.
She got called out and then she got pregged up.
And I saw a clip where someone was speaking on her behalf and talking kind of trying to victimize her. And I saw the clip that believe that you sent to us. They mentioned that she did studies of cultural studies of breakdancing and popping. And if you know anything about the culture and the history, people pay their dues. You had to pay your dues. And along with that came backlash or laughter or whatever the case may be if you wasn't on point, or just guidance and support. You know what I mean? So
you can tell she never once breakdanced in front of someone black, because if she did this just once, they would have been like, sweetie,
that ain't it.
Okay, I'm not knocking your aspirations, but we gotta work on your execution.
Because they were saying that she was trying to be original, she was trying to be different, bring some new things to the culture, like all this and that. Like, hey,
Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you?
Just because it's original don't mean it's right.
Yeah, you can't even see the originality in it.
Exactly.
What college does you teach at? Like, did Trump found that college too? Like, what's going on?
It was either Trump University or Hamburger University. Like, somewhere
Scooby Snacks University. Oh my gosh!
I am. Knock her aspirations and tell her to have several seats.
Okay.
Right next to me. Yeah, I know. I feel you, Mikkel. I'm with you. Several seats. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna move on from her. Squirrel
Okay.
Girl. Salute the squirrel, not salute, but Squirrel Girl. You know, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, okay. Now, so here's some other news that I saw this week. Current events. There's a girl that got a Trump tattoo on her forehead.
Oh Lord, that. Yeah.
What were your reactions to that when y'all saw the video? Everyone in the chats, just so you know, there's some girl who doesn't sound like she's from this country, but she was white, and she has a Trump tattoo across her forehead.
Right.
She was, or is she still? Did she
still
get her
there.
whole body like repainted or what?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I might have to paint those roses red.
Hey, there's a lot of extremists out there. You never know.
Yeah.
It's like in
video, but
it's like an impact or aerial black, right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's huge. It's huge. Takes up her whole forehead.
And are the people praising that too? Is that like the new thing? Are they praising that too?
Yeah, I mean, okay. I saw on YouTube first, right? And there were only 2 likes on YouTube. So I'm like, yeah, ain't nobody even liking this. It's not even like really a thing. So I look it up on TikTok. Yes, she has blown the F up. But I watched her and her British self, you know, and I don't even know if she gets to vote. Is she really a citizen? I don't know. But I like seeing other commentary, right? And other, you know, white women talking about this chick. And that it's been, you know, pointed out as a publicity stunt possibly. And well, actually this one woman pointed out that she will be making lots of money, most likely, right? This is going to earn her, you know, some good cheddar. And then
it comes to that.
What's that?
It's sad it comes to that.
Yeah.
Money.
Right.
I'm doing this to make money, but go ahead, please.
Yeah, but that's how it is too, right? Like everything is so like right now, everything is all about demure, and everybody's like trying to get their 7 seconds of fame, and to get a little bit of money off of it, like it's just a quick little trend. And anyway, it's disgusting. I know it is, and I like that it does help us identify people immediately. You know.
Oh, nincompoop. Oh, okay.
Okay, we're not gonna get anywhere. I got it.
Yeah.
But I was surprised to see how many like other like there's like Trump tattoos are a thing. You know, I'm not in South Jersey like that. I don't go down except for the beach. So like I don't see these people. And like his face, MAGA on this like dude, he's Latino and like he's just like MAGA and says like, he's a Latino man. I was like, why?
Yo, but the promotion is serious though, because even at the beach, I went down to Seaside a couple weeks ago and I've seen like a whole stand full of Trump shirts and hats and visors, everything.
Yeah.
So if it's not tattoos, it's merch.
It's really,
South Jersey.
You know, okay, I understand some merch, right? A little bit, but like it's really creepy how they have these huge flags and there's so much merch. You know, and people are getting tattoos and they're wanting to look like them or be like them. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. It feels like I'm in a different universe because I'm like, how are y'all praising this man who is a convicted felon, a sexual predator, a liar, all types of, we can go through the laundry list. But it doesn't make sense. South Jersey is crazy with it. It's kind of scary, actually. Yeah, because it's close to PA.
I never knew.
Yeah, and West Jersey got all the clans. My mama always pointed that out.
See? Listen. And I'm learning more about Jersey, too, actually. Y'all are right. Like, they're coming out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all coming out of their little pointy hat closets. I swear to God. But like, and then I remember one of the last doctor's appointments I got to take my mother to before she passed. We were in the waiting room forever, right? And she's reading a magazine, and then she points out to me there's an article, and she's reading it. I don't feel like reading, but she's reporting back to me. There's an article on the Grand Dragon of the New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, whatever, sector of the KKK, whose home is my hometown of Somerset County, New Jersey.
The expression and the hands, yeah. Yeah. It's
They could be
nerve-wracking.
anywhere. It is.
Because you know what? Here's the thing. Here's what me personally, and you all tell us, I want to get you all reaction to this and y'all in the chats as well. I do follow politics to a degree. But what I follow more when I vote is my feeling about the person. I'll do some research and stuff like that. But you don't know what's real and what's fake, at least to some degree. But to me, in your mind and in your spirit, you just know when someone is faking the funk or not, in general, you know? And I got great energy from Obama. No one agrees.
Oh, yeah.
You're not gonna agree with everyone's politics. When do you agree with everyone's anything? We don't. You know? But I got a feeling with him, and I get a feeling with Kamala. Now, the feeling we get with Trump, ooh. Yo, like we're fighting an evil villain right now. Like it's crazy that people are following him.
Cult.
Like, do y'all kind of vote somewhat also by feeling, or is it more your decision is weighed by their policies?
What you think?
Take this one first?
Oh, okay. I mean, like I think I will get a general impression just initially, definitely, but and even if it's the local or like the midterm or local elections, and please vote always in your local elections, you get to choose who the sheriff is. Like we get to choose that, but the KKK has also infiltrated that across and has been for a long time. So because we don't vote,
Yeah.
but because I won't follow who the candidates are, especially for local elections. So then, like the day before, I'll look it up on my sample ballot, and then I'll look them up online just to see like whose policies align, and also like what their history is, especially for the local. But with those major elections, like we can read somebody like that.
Yeah. No,
then check the policy. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you do a vibe check almost as much as policy. Or is it more policy?
Well, I think the initial vibe check is like, I mean, as soon as I saw Elon Musk's face, like I saw Teslas when they first came out, and I'm like, oh, dang, that's my new car. Okay. And then I saw his face, and I was like, oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not because it's not something about like his features, but you can see it in him. You can see that demonic presence or something. You can see it. He's just wrong. Yeah. He's just wrong. And if that's not there, then we check the policies.
Yeah. Now, okay, Monique, and I'd like to, I saw Vic was pointing at that. I'd like to hear from, I guess Vic's response as well. But she said, I don't agree with the policies of either, so I have to go with my feeling of character. I'd like to know when people say that, what policies of Kamala's don't you agree with?
Well, for me, when I say like I don't necessarily, this is why I've been if you notice, for those who follow me, I don't post too much about politics. And I'm quiet about quite a few things. One, because it just the mess that stirred up from the last time around during elections with losing friends. And if that's the case, so be it. If that's, if we can agree to disagree, but my point is agree to disagree respectfully. You know what I mean? So if people got to go, they got to go. But for me, I tried not to get always too caught up in emotions. As the woman I posted through my video, that I created about, we can't just go by words and feelings and emotions, but by their actions. That's what I go by. And history tells it through journalism, through fact checking. You can't always go by the media. Media tries to put their spin on certain things, whether it's for Kamala, Biden, or whomever, whether Democratic or Republican. So I'm very, very careful. And I before I jump the gun on emotions and what feels good to me, I always have to check my history and just take my time with it. And that also includes character. So that's why I was pointing to Monique's comment as well, because character is huge for me. And that's one of the main reasons why I despise Trump. He's just not my kind of guy at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, they say respect those who like kind of show, even if they're a jerk or an asshole, so to speak, you still respect them for being brutally honest. But with this guy, to me, he's not brutally honest. He's just an asshole. And he's just.
He an ass if he got Vic cursing.
Oh,
he's one of the few that gets me to that point.
just saying.
Wow.
But I'd like to talk to people that say they have issues with Kamala. Not that you were saying that, or even Monique. Like, and it's not to debate, but it's to really have the conversation and understand. Because I saw an interview recently where where these black folk were talking, and they were saying, you know, black people tend to judge each other so harshly. Now, that's not saying we shouldn't judge Kamala or anything like that, but they were saying we judge very harshly, and in some cases, we expect a candidate to be either perfect or the person that's going to save us and do all these things for us, and really, they're not able to, because, like Dorian said earlier, we don't vote on the smaller elections and in the House and in the Senate. So when they get in as president, they're fighting the entire time. And my thing is, we're just learning about her policies because she wasn't president. We know the vice president job is way in the background.
That was one of my only concerns with her, was just since, like, she was everywhere prior to Biden being elected. They both were, but once he was elected, she was at least to me, she was nowhere to be found.
Well, that's every vice president that in my opinion, I think
that's a good point.
They have to campaign, you know, and be the one to push for them and make it happen, and then they sit back once they win. Well, not sit back, but they're relegated to sitting back afterwards.
And I wanted to, Dorian, I want you to elaborate on what you meant by a good point. I don't know if you meant me or John or both, but I just feel like when it comes for like the presidency, you see these people campaign, they go out and talk to people, they say all the right things until they're in office, and then it's just not adding up. You're not seeing action behind the words and the promises, and that's my thing. You know, that's why I don't always go based on feeling and like how people can act really well and do what they need to get where they want to go. Yep. But you know, if the action is not adding up and it doesn't equate to what they talked about prior to the elections or during, you know, after, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. And I think that's the point with most of the people, as far as black people or people in the country in general, they're just tired of empty promises, you know?
We all are. And I see Monique said, I think Obama did not get a bad rap amongst black community, but there are a lot of things that happened under his administration that is questionable. Okay, right. I will respect your opinion. I think, to me, I knew a lot of black people that once the honeymoon phase was over, they almost was on the other side. They were not fans of Obama almost all the way through, which I was surprised by, but all good. Now, these questionable things, we can't obviously, because she's in the chat, but maybe we'll have her on an episode. I would love to hear about what these questionable things exactly are, you know? Because under any administration, because under any administration, there are going to be decisions they make that they get wrong, because we're human. Now, you want to make sure it's not as many mistakes, but and I'm not saying it's okay he made mistakes, but him making mistakes versus what Trump did when he was in office and what he's planning to do this time are two different ball games, in my opinion, respectfully. What does that say, Vic? Like how?
That's not uncommon for the BP unless you were really following her. You didn't really see her, but she did a lot. And I'm starting to see some of these things like videos and meetings and interviews that she had several years ago. So that's why you can't always go by media or what they show us on TV. You got to do your fact check and your research.
Some of that was when she was running, though. Some of that was when she was running for president.
Right.
A lot of it.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember, this is a while ago, but I don't know if I remember Al Gore's highlights until after he lost or an election was stolen from him, you know? And we had all of his environmentalism, but I don't remember his highlights before that. But I was also younger and in my 20s and partying a lot. But so I wonder how much VPs are actually covered. Although, with a long history of there only being Caucasian male VPs, I wonder too if a reason why our vice president hadn't been that covered because Because
yeah, that's the thing. Like, it wasn't just
right?
being seen, not heard. No, like I
Yeah,
just nada.
expression. Right. We had the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, it came and then they slapped that down. And but we can't like actually like show too much of what she doing. Like, oh, that's a woman, I'm a black woman.
No, without question. Yeah, without question. And Monique said, so many promises were made during Biden's first presidential campaign. Even though we had Republicans in the majority in the Senate, I would like her to answer for that. So you know what that kind of reminds me of? That's like you're dating somebody and somebody rolls up on Dorian and says, yo, I want you to answer for what your boyfriend did. And you like, I was just sitting in the house while he was typing those messages or doing that work. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you have say so, even if Kamala says, Biden, you shouldn't do that, Joey, ultimately it's his decision. He's going to go with his politics. But I love and appreciate that Monique is expressing her opinions, you know, because that's what we're supposed to do. Even if we don't agree, we need to discuss and examine these things and really get down to it. In my opinion,
this thing with Gaza, which I just remembered after the show last week, I wanted to address a bit of it, you know, and again, the spin with the media as far as like hecklers, I didn't like that. They were protesters, and they had a point. They had a point in which they tried to address Kamala, and I felt they had every right to.
Did you know that Kamala had a meeting with some of the head people that were, I guess, connected to those protesters?
Yes.
Right beforehand.
Yes.
And
I saw an interview with her talking about it.
So now imagine you, before you have this big speech to make, you sit down with some of these entities to say, look, let's figure this out, or let me at least hear you out, and let's see what we can do. I can't promise nothing yet because, again, I'm not president, but I can talk to what I might do. And then they're like, okay, cool. You get on stage, and then some of their people start heckling you. What type of, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want us to help, but then you treat us like that? Would either of y'all want to help somebody, even if they're in dire situation, if they deal with you in that kind of disrespectful way?
I don't know, man. Well, okay, so she met with, you know, some people from, I haven't been looking at this, but so she met with some of the organizers of the protest group. I don't know what protest group this is. I want to look it up at the same time. But and then people still heckled her. I don't know. I feel like regardless, that might just be an act of civil disobedience and a demonstration. And I personally wouldn't see it as disrespectful. I mean, like, it is, I guess, kind of. But then, like, that point had to continue to be made. Like, they're still making their move, you know.
But that's not how you do it. That's not, you can't go to somebody's job and start, that's not her job. But if you go there to protest, that doesn't make her make a move. That's not what does it.
Who are we talking about? Who were the protesters?
Either side.
On behalf of Gaza.
But they were on the behalf of Gaza. Like, because she can't make
Palestine, excuse me, Palestine. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Word. Yeah.
Because she can't make a decision right then and there, and she can't literally address their issue right there. To me, it's unfair because let's have a conversation. Yeah. You're yelling at me while I'm trying to speak. So how is, regardless of how you, not you, but I'm saying regardless of what your cause is, there has to be some time and place. It can't just be, I'm just going to start shouting. What result does that get?
But okay, I definitely get and respect that, but I do feel like the administration haven't addressed the Palestine situation enough.
No,
you know what I mean? That's why I feel like it's gotten to this point where it's been as excessive as it's been, and that's what a lot of people, my wife including, who, big up salute to my wife, M. Josephine, has been very, very, very strong-minded, and this administration, especially, you know, Biden and them, have had people on the fence as to whether they gain the support because of what they've supported with this whole war. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, they feel like they need not only just words, but they need to see more actions in a ceasefire.
I want to understand. I really truly want to understand this, because it feels like your wife and others are up in arms about this whole Gaza and Palestine thing. Like this is the most important thing in this election, more than the things that are affecting us right here. I mean, this thing is deep, what's happening, but I'm not understanding this almost obsession, because these people, when black shit was happening, I didn't hear anybody. I didn't hear these voices. I didn't see this irony. I didn't see this anger or anything. But suddenly, some shit that's happening in another country, they want to judge the leaders or potential leaders of this country for that, but not what they're going to do here. Like, we got to deal with here first. As bad as it is over there, we got to deal with here. I don't understand this.
Well, it's disappointing.
So I need to understand. Please help
me. I think where the rage and frustration and the hurt and pain comes from is what the US's part in supplying the gun, the weapons, the financial aspect of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like just their involvement with the other countries. You say, like, you know, the things that occur here need to be dealt with first, but the US has always had a hand in dealing with other countries and adding a lot of chaos and mischief, and you know,
especially Israel.
This is what
especially.
You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of
been inherited.
It's kind of hard to say, like, you know, hey, like let's worry about here first or here, but while they still have their hand in the cookie jar in the other country, you know, I was outraged on both ends for Black Lives Matter and everything that's been going on before Black Lives Matter even existed, and everything that's going on in the other countries. Because every time I see kids and body parts laid out, I mean, it's just, come on. Like, honestly, to me, it's not even about what country, it's the world. I'm on some Michael Jackson type stuff, like, we are the world.
We can't do that.
I can't stand it. Regardless,
and that's why I hate them get their hands in so much shit. They shouldn't have their hands in so many different cookie jars. That's why it's part of the problem. But again, it's like we got so much happening right here where we listen. A dictatorship is about to happen, and not just a dictatorship. They're talking about being at different states to stop our votes from counting. And we're over here fucking talking about another country. It's insane. Like, we're about to lose everything. So we'll need help like Gaza eventually if we don't take care of here. Yes, they're messing up and they shouldn't have done what they did. But did Kamala do that?
No. I don't believe she did.
Okay, so if we want to hold Biden more accountable, yes. But do we hold Kamala? Do y'all, I should say?
I can't even say one way or the other because I haven't fact checked to see. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest and say I haven't. I know either her or
she's connected to him, and this is his administration, and she's a co-pilot.
Right?
Do y'all connect her to this as well? In your hearts?
Well, it has to connect. It has to connect, and I understand that is what the only frustration that I have found with the only place where the policy isn't aligned with my values, because I'm all for free Palestine. And from the research that I did before last Wednesday, I wanted to just like see what's been going on. So far of the major candidates, Kamala has been the most non-supportive, of the U.S.'s involvement with Israel's hand in Palestine. She's had the most critical stance. I understand that but it's not, I don't want this to be a deal breaker for any voter though. Like, it has to be a strategic move. I don't want the US to become Gaza. Well, yes, I know.
Like.
Yeah,
not to you.
Well, these conversations
it is for some people. It is for some people. It is.
Yes, but that's part of the fucking problem. Excuse my French. This is part of the voter disenfranchisement. This is, I believe, to say, what's that one issue? Now you can't, but now you shouldn't vote. And then that's gonna be like, I'm not gonna vote because blah blah blah. Meanwhile, like the real move is to put a person into power, put a person into the White House, and they get to every other damn polling place and vote for your representatives. Vote for absolutely everyone that needs to be in place. But you put the person in place in the White House. You put the people in place in Congress, so that we can inch our way towards a more closer union. Europe has been trying to park Jews in Palestine since Napoleon. I looked that up. This has been going on forever, for centuries. Yep. And the U.S. has had an ugly history with Gaza. Very disgusting history.
Not surprised.
And it didn't get any, but like, and then what I noticed with the administration is that like with a Democratic president in place, it gets an inch better. Republicans in place, it gets miles worse. Yes.
Because Trump kind of set a lot of this off that's happening now. Some of this, I'm not saying he started this whole thing, because like you said,
it's been going on for generations. History. Yeah.
But he kind of poked that bear, and all of a sudden this beast woke up, and now all this stuff is happening. But again, it's not just his fault.
Yeah.
It's just, I love your point though. Go ahead, Dorian.
We have to put her in place, because this will become Gaza or worse, right? North Korea or worse.
Yeah.
And pressure the administration to do the right thing. Even if the right thing can only be like less guns. We're going to send less weapons to Israel, okay? That might be like the next big move that can be made. It's not going to happen overnight with one administration.
Right.
It's not.
Vic, go ahead. Is something you wanted to say?
No. I agree with Dorian, her last final point she made. And I do agree with your point earlier about things going on here and the Black Lives Matter and just everything. I made that same point, to a lot of people.
Vic, someone who is, you know what, and I want to get rid of the word minority, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
There's nothing minor about any of us, especially if this woman goes and becomes president. Let's just get rid of that word. But I will say people of color, which I know Vic's not crazy about that term either. It sounds a little, but whatever. But you know what I mean?
All black everything, though. But I just noticed it.
But what I was going to say is people of color like us, like Asians, any Latinos, Hispanics, I'm like, listen, we cannot sit here and go in about, like you said, this one thing, because what is at stake are freedoms and things that are going to affect us all directly in such a major way, where I think these people after the fact are going to be like, shit, I really regret that I didn't vote for her, because no one's perfect. Gaza was not her thing. Now, like you said, her stance on Gaza, but did you see her when she spoke at her speech, when she addressed them and said what she plans to do about Gaza and what they're working on now? Because I don't see anyone talk about that.
Yeah.
Because when those protesters went at her, she first said, okay, please go ahead and speak. It's a democracy. She allowed them to keep yelling. Then she moved on and they continue to yell. And then that's when she addressed it and said, look, this is what's happening. We are working on a ceasefire as we speak, okay? And that is one of my main number one priorities. But for some reason, when I hear people talk about her stance on Gaza, no one mentions that. They only mention what you mentioned, but they don't mention what I saw her say, where she says, this is what I'm currently doing. I saw a comment recently from a woman who said she voted third party in the election with Hillary and Trump. She said she's forever regretted it.
It's time for protest vote, right?
His own team regrets it. His own team regrets it. That's why he has none left from the first administration. First time around.
Hello. A bunch of them is like, look,
if that doesn't speak to his character, I don't know what does.
Character. It's like Monique said earlier. Eventually, she's like judging on character because she doesn't agree with the politics, which I understand. But it's interesting. I feel like a lot of people, I don't ever hear anyone talk or be about politics until this time. And then when this time comes, it's like they're ultra political, ultra. Everything is like, wait a minute, you didn't do this right and this, and the rest of the year they're like, oh,
I feel like you're talking about me.
I feel like if the shoe fits, you should wear it. No, I'm kidding. I was definitely not talking about you. Or anybody else, but I'm just saying in general, because I've been that person before too, actually. We all
I'd be the first one to say I'm not the most well-versed with politics. I've never been into it like that. I try to stay aware of things and cognizant, but I'm just not into the whole political thing like that.
Like, we got to look at people, because to me, if we vote in the right kind of person, they can work towards, and we can help them work towards the right politics and policies.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like if Vic became president, I would be confident that we can try to talk to this guy and he would listen and try to work with us. But if this asshole who lives down the street from me became president, I would have a problem, because he's an asshole.
Yep.
Shots fired at my neighbor.
To me, I think I said it the last time around. It's just mind blowing to me. There's people try to paint this picture of Trump that he's so misunderstood, he's misquoted, he's the victim, you know. But there's evidence, virtual evidence, a long laundry list of evidence of him stating that the Republicans are stupid. You know, I would vote. I would become the leader for Republicans because it's stupid. If I shot, somebody in a crowd, whatever, however he put it, he wouldn't be held accountable. You know, it's in.
And he made that true. He made that part true.
Exactly right. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't understand it. But hey.
So he had a speech tonight in North Carolina, and I listened to some of it. He talked a lot about Kamala being on Time magazine and how pretty she was. Again, like this guy on the low is crushing on her. Did you hear him in the Elon Musk interview?
No,
I did hear a little piece of that.
Hurt my ears.
It was
what
creepy.
Happened?
Well, he commented about how she looks. He was like, she looks like the most beautiful actress you've ever seen. They drew her so well. But then he backtracked and was like, but she's not as pretty as the first lady, Kamala, I mean, not Kamala, his wife, whatever her name is, The
only immigrant that he allowed in the wall.
Ivana Trump.
Right.
The immigrant, right.
Yeah.
So he's talking about that in today's speech. He was supposed to talk about the economy. He tells them, I'm supposed to talk the economy, but why should we get into all this smart talk today? Let's just talk.
Right, it doesn't matter. Right.
So he was just talking. He says, Kamala's dumb. He kept calling her dumb. Dumb. So how is dumb he's calling her? Okay? And he said, she's a complainer. But all he does is complain constantly.
About the crowds, the amount of people that showed up at his rallies, and AI visuals of crowds that are being made up at how she's hypocritical, how she's promised things that she talked about before. She's switching up her views now just to get votes. I walked past, I heard a little bit of it. Within passing.
Vic, how are they falling for this stuff?
It's very Kim Jong-un. He's like, I invented water. And they're like, he invented water? It's such cult dictatorship mentality.
It really is.
I don't know how it happens. I know it happens a lot through our human history, and it may be due to a lack of actual connection and whatever. I don't know the science behind it. I'm sure I could do more research.
Like air to the brains? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not getting enough oxygen?
Yeah, maybe. But there's a great series produced by Peter Dinklage and narrated by him. And one of the seasons is how to become a cult leader. And so if anyone's interested in finding out how this is happening, there's a whole series on it.
So you can watch it. He's just so dangerous. Like, I understand how Vic was saying, like, people he knows or are close to are a little bit turned away from Kamala somewhat because of the Gaza thing. Okay, I get that. But to be this stark Trump follower, I don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's face it, our country likes asshole culture. Laugh out loud. Yes, you laughed out loud, but that's real talk.
It's true.
That's real talk.
No, it's true.
That's real talk. And hold on. So let me just go to a couple of comments here. 383 said, so what's the plan instead? To vote for Trump, the person who is friends with Netanyahu?
Mm-hmm.
Then there are, that's a good point. Okay, our Sharon said, what's up, Rashida?
Oh, dummies.
He makes fellow
Rashida in the place. What up?
Yo, seriously, he makes fellow dummies feel seen.
For real. I love that.
Here's something on the good note. I showed and shared with y'all a video of Kamala talking to these young girls.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Loved it.
And the one young girl said, oh my God, I love you. I want, she wanted to be like her. You're my idol. And Kamala just took a second and really talked to her and said, listen, you are special. She held her by her face. You are seen.
Look me in the eyes. I love that part.
Look me in the eyes. And the girl next to her was just like, oh my God. It was almost, you know what I'm saying? And this little girl, while Kamala was speaking, you could hear the little girl almost shrieking with excitement. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's that. That wasn't like Trump walks by and one of his followers almost pass out because they're like, oh my God, Trump. This was the youth. This little girl is far from being a voter, but she was inspired by her. Do you think, Dorian, how do you think Kamala could have an effect on young women?
Well, having our first woman president, especially one who is multicultural and a woman of color, a Black woman, who's also Indian.
Well put.
As a teaching artist going into many different schools all around New Jersey, then working with particularly grades 4 through 8. One game that I play with them is they have to make like statues to answer a question, and even middle schoolers like this. And my first question is always, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? The vast majority of girls, grades 4 through 8, choose invisibility, the power of stealth. I was that way too.
Really?
Girls want to disappear. And, some of that could just be nature, but I'm kind of thinking it's a whole lot of nurture. And with our next president being Kamala Harris, I do believe there'll be an empowering shift from disappear to I'm here, which is already starting to happen a little bit. With progress, the pushback machine is always working harder. So we are getting a lot of pushback in fashion and pop culture and of course legislation, right? But even Wednesday, I mean, like, girls are like, I'm weird and dark. Look at me, accept me. This is me. I'm messed up. And now you have to deal with it because you deal with Wednesday, And so we're getting these heroes that are out of this. We're just like, we're getting really strong women in media, yes, but then that big shift, it becomes instantly possible too. Now, I don't want to take the whole floor, but I also am concerned, and I was concerned about this with Hillary, that with a woman president, we might see an increase in violence against women.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah. I know that we have the whole bear. I still choose the bear, of course, but it is a concern that I have, again, with that pushback culturally. And it's like an insidious kind of thing. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope that it doesn't happen. But
Vic,
with progress.
You have something about that?
No, I'm just taking everything in. I mean, that's a great perspective. Unfortunate perspective to look, to think about, but one that I didn't think about like that either.
We wouldn't have.
Right.
Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
No.
This is an upper, and I'm gonna tell you why it's an upper.
Okay.
This is why we're supposed to be having these conversations, because what you just presented to Vic and I are thoughts that would have never crossed our mind as men.
Right.
Okay. But now that it has, I'm saying for sure, me personally, I will be there for you or whoever you need that's a woman, as a partial protector as I can be as a friend, like for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I mean physically. You know what I'm saying? If need be. And that's what we all need to be, meaning all these men. We need to be that for these women now. The time is now, because we've messed up too. We've been just like hip hop. We've been disrespecting. Well, Vic and I haven't.
Not at all.
But
Not
men
at all.
in general, general have been disrespecting women and putting them in corners and making them want to be invisible. That almost made me cry. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was fighting back.
And that's not just from toxic masculinity, but just like in general, girls want to disappear. As soon as they hit puberty, they just want to be gone.
It's mainly toxic masculinity, and it's a toxic society that conditions a specific way when it comes to men and women. And we here, like we just need to keep aligning. You're not alone. And y'all women that are in the chats, y'all aren't alone. Tell the men in your life, whether it's the man you dating or a friend, tell them what Dorian just said to us in your own way, and allow them the opportunity to be there for you. See, y'all gonna make me cry. Go ahead, Vic.
You already did that today.
It's just and that's why I know, for me, she's the person to vote for, because this type of energy, this is what will change policy and politics in time. You know, it won't be one individual. They can't, because, you know, they're fighting against the Congress and the Senate and anyway. So, okay, y'all. Any final thoughts before we log out for the night that either of you would like to share? Ladies first.
Man, there was something in my brain, but I already done forgot it. Like, seriously. But hey, the clapback, right? What was our clapback to Obama? Trump. Like, what? So, like, get ready. The pushback machine is always working harder. So we have to work even harder than that. We have to get out and vote even harder than they do. And they're going to make it harder for us to vote. But we still got to just work harder all the time. And we can. And to have fun doing it, because the team that has the most fun wins.
Yo, I love her slogans. Like,
they are definitely.
I was quoting McGuinn, white dudes for Harris. That's who came up with it. That's where I got it from. They come up with it.
That's okay. The Republicans for Harris, last night's meeting hit over 60,000 on Zoom.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. Like, to me, these are the things that are going to make the difference, because because Trump's not going to get new people. He's going to get his followers. And to some degree, Kamala as well. It's who's going to get the most of the people who are undecided. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully with them groups. And now there's going to be, what do they call those priests? Evangelists for Kamala. Or having a Zoom
Jesus.
Tonight.
It's about that long time.
There's a video of him. Someone was interviewing him in a church, and they were like, "Do you ever ask God for forgiveness?" And he sat there for a second, and he was like, "No, actually, I've never gotten to a point where I just needed to do that." Heartless, godless, ballless.
That's narcissism for you.
Baby man hands.
Narcissism at its best.
It really is. But everybody, listen, do your best with all this madness going on. Find waves of positivity and things that feel good. Because this election, even though there's brightness in this new person who's coming in to try to run for president, there's joy. There's so much darkness. And I feel like the news naturally covers Trump more than they cover her.
If it bleeds, it leads.
Even the ones that want Kamala to win. Because naturally, the news is where the drama is.
I was about to say car crashes. Don't car crashes attract the most eyes and attention? You let the man speak and you'll see how many viewers you get. Honestly, whether it's nonsense or just all nonsense or things that they agree with, his cult following, which is everything.
Yeah. Vic, any last words for the night?
Just the same thing I reiterate every episode. Try to keep this applies to us all, to keep an open mind, open heart, open ears, and just agree to disagree respectfully. Like I said earlier in the show, you know, these conversations are important to have. We must continue to have them, whether they're as uncomfortable as they can get. You know, I respect John, you, Mikkel, for putting the show together and having us on and providing the opportunity, and as well as the viewers, to have these discussions, because it's important to have, honestly. And this is part of why I agree with things moving forward, to progress and not regress and go backwards, because we're not going back. Whether you agree with Kamala or not, we're not going back.
We're not going back. We're not going back. You know what's funny? I heard a comedian say that people put less pressure and they put a person under less scrutiny that they're going to have sex with and be in a relationship with versus the scrutiny they put on somebody that's going to run the country. Now, I know running the country means you're running much more than just being in a relationship, but what's more important than the person that's right in front of you who you have to coexist with? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to some degree, let's put these politicians under scrutiny, yes, but let's also remember that they're not going to always get it right. Do they need to be held accountable? Yes. But it can't just be end all be all. And in this election, I really I hope that everyone not only votes, but I'm serious, hopefully votes for Kamala. I don't believe in everything. I don't know all her policies yet. I don't. But I do know what this guy's about. It's either dictatorship or it's democracy in this election. That's the only reason why I feel this extreme about it. Because normally I wouldn't, but anyway, this has been a great conversation, y'all. This has been great.
Definitely.
It's good for the spirit.
Right?
Yes.
100%.
Well, listen, everybody. Everybody do the pose. We out.
I need some Scooby snacks.
We're out. Good night, y'all. Scooby Doo.
We got the leg.
Where are you? We need some work. Yeah, we got some work to do.
Now. It's not really a ghost. It's a Magonite.
We're out. Love, it's out. It's out. That's it. Squirrel Girl.